Oh, it's that time. I hit the button. Got sidetracked thinking about stuff and hop over on the internet and start Googling stuff. And I look up and it says the stream's waiting on me. Oops, sorry. At least it's not too far in. My clock still shows 6. Let's see. Looks like Uncle Smiley's here. Welcome in. And Skull's here. Welcome. How are you all doing? What I was going down a rabbit hole about was I think I mentioned last week about having an issue with my tubs of something getting in them and eating the mops and fish disappearing and all of that. Not sure what it was. And getting it identified at the Bluegrass Bash by one of the guys there that sounded like it was raccoons. Well, I went to the club, the Lexington Club meeting last night, and the presentation was on tubbing, and they talked about stuff getting in your tubs like raccoons and skunks and possums. And I didn't even know skunks and possums would eat fish. But that got me thinking. The guy at the Bluegrass Bash was telling me how to keep the raccoons from getting my fish and from eating my spawning mops. And his suggestion was to lay a wooden pallet on top of the tub, which maybe that would work because he said the reason that it works is because the raccoons only have those small little slits in the pallet to reach through to get to the fish, and they don't want to do that. But the more I thought about it, it may work, but if I want to look out in the backyard and see a stack of wooden pallets, why even have the tubs? So I started thinking about other things, and the presentation last night was talking about some different things about some netting and different stuff. So I started thinking about like maybe putting like hardware cloth across the top of the tubs so that like the insects and stuff can still get in, but the raccoons wouldn't mess with it. Wouldn't move to get the mops out and make it more difficult for them to go fishing. And my little rabbit hole that I went down sent me after motion detecting sprinklers. And I've got like a motion sensing light, but that doesn't deter the raccoons. They don't care about that anymore. But getting squirted with water, motion sensing sprinkler sounds pretty cool. And I started thinking about other non-fish related things that I could do with it. That might get on the neighbors' nerves. But anyways, Manasi came in. Welcome in. Scuba Steve, welcome in. Yeah, and people have said, "Oh, just get rid of the raccoon permanently." But what a lot of people don't realize is if you dispose of one raccoon, because the way the raccoon's territories work, another raccoon moves into the area and becomes the dominant, and you got another raccoon that doesn't know the limits that you set with the previous raccoon, and you got to start it all over again. There's Mexicali coming in. Welcome in. So I'm on the fence with the motion activated sprinkler thing. I do have hardware cloth and lumber and stuff. I could build a little lid type thing to go over the tubs where you wouldn't be able to see it really, but it would deter dogs and cats and raccoons and that type of stuff from getting in the tubs. Oh, that sprinkler sounds pretty cool though. I thought about using like actual like window screen, but I don't know. I like the idea of the fish getting the natural bugs and stuff that's in the environment outside. And I talked about maybe building a fence around it, but looking into it and thinking about it and stuff like that, I'd forgotten that raccoons can climb. So building a pretty like wooden privacy fence uh, around the tubs, or even a chain link fence, wouldn't really do any good against something that climbs as well as a raccoon. Ali Sean's here. Welcome. I use bird spikes on my tubs, velcroed in place to surround the marginal shelves. It's worked so far. That's that popped into my head, but I couldn't think of what they were called. Bird spikes. Okay, because I was thinking I've seen people use like spiky things, and what came to my mind was like upside down forks sticking everywhere. I'm like, that's not what it was. But I couldn't think of what it was. So bird spikes. I got to remember that. In the Flesh Aquatics, welcome in. The speaker last night at the meeting, he talked about some sort of netting that he used that kept stuff out. But he said he didn't put it up to keep stuff out. He did to keep stuff in. That he lost 16 rainbows in 16 days out of his tubs because rainbows like to jump, apparently. I didn't put any rainbows out, but somehow my spawning moths are jumping out of the tubs and getting shredded and teeth marks in them. And the fish that I did put out have disappeared. I noticed there's still at least 3 tubs with at least 1 fish in them apiece yesterday, but the rest of them, the fish are either hiding really well or they're gone. So I didn't proceed with video in any of that, of the tubs without fish or any of that. So just plan better for next year is where I'm at now. Leave those tubs that's running, leave them going, and see what happens. If there's anything left in the fall, and just plan better for next year. Me and tubbing doesn't have a very good relationship. I don't have very good luck at it. I had the year that I put the greenhouse out to keep stuff out of the tubs and turn it into a dragonfly breeding facility inside the greenhouse. And then the winter storm took the greenhouse and mangled it. Had the year of, I think it was bullfrogs that got in there and cleaned it out. I don't know. I've had luck here and there, but I'll put 3 tubs out and 2 of them are totally like destroyed, and one of them halfway succeeds. Let's see, what else have we got going on? So I was good at the meeting yesterday. I only bought some plants and an ornament, all of it for $1 a piece, and that was really to keep the bidding going. We had the auction portion of the meeting. They said lasted well over an hour. It was a pretty good sized auction, and I did good not buying fish. There was stuff that I wanted, but I'm holding off right now until I can get this this area over here cleaned out and the breeding racks set up that I'm wanting to set up over here and organize stuff a little bit more. I've got projects that I want to work on that I've got 2 species of fish in the same tank, and they won't crossbreed or anything like that, but they won't really breed to full level with each other in their tank. So I'm trying to hold off on buying fish until that, or the OCA, whichever one comes first. And buy them from the OCA. I might not. I may say that I'm not buying anything there either, but I always come home from conventions and stuff like that with fish. All right, so I can get the bird spikes on Amazon. So I need to look those up and check those out. And it's good to know that you use Velcro on them to hold, because that was another one of my things of like, if I use stuff and I put it out with Velcro, then will like the raccoons and stuff figure out that they can just like pull it off and unvelcro it, or will the Velcro like give out? But it's good to know that it's a tested and proven method. And I keep looking at this 65 whatever gallon tank this is over here. I don't know that I like it there, but I don't know what to do with it. It's to me it's odd that it's the 55 gallon footprint, but then taller, so it's, I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm still not decided. If I'm keeping it there, I'm going to do something different with it. It's just been like a catch-all for the last few months. If I come home with something that I don't have anywhere to put, it becomes a catch-all community tank. Oh, Curtis put the link for the bird spikes in there. Thank you very much. That'll be very helpful. I got a few things going on in here as far as like breeding and stuff. I'm about to give up on breeding rainbows. They take forever to grow out and stuff. I don't know. There was some threadfin rainbows at the auction last night that I was tempted to get, and my mind went back to the ones I've got growing out that have been growing out for almost a year now. And it's like, will they ever get to size? Do I need to get more rainbows that are going to go through this again with? Oh, okay, Sean. I didn't even think about the raccoons having sensitive paws. They don't want to mess with that stuff. The heavy duty Velcro that's weather resistant. Yeah, I've seen. We've got some that we use at work that's like not the cloth type of Velcro. It's all plastic, and it's really really heavy duty stuff. I bet something like that would work good for them. Shoot, just putting that stuff around the tub itself may deter them some. I also need to think about what I'm doing with the tubs when it gets cold weather in winter. I'll probably have to drain them out and condense them down and put them somewhere where they won't freeze. I used last year. I used the last 2 years. I use like cheap indoor use only, like 27-gallon bucket looking things. And after having them out in the sun, they got brittle, and then temperature changes. They got just a little bit of water in them and busted and weren't usable again after that for tubs anyways. I thought about using them as a sort of planter without a bottom in it to raise plants up. Haven't quite decided yet. But it seems like I'm not decided on a lot of things. And I'm thinking about moving more fish inside the house from out here. And the whole point of this building was to get the tanks out of the house. And then I moved a tank in the house, and then there was 2 tanks. And I'm currently at 3 tanks in the house. But this would replace one of those tanks in there if I was to do that. Swapping out what's in the house for stuff that's out here, just to get a different variety in there. Changing things up. I keep looking at the swordtails because that's what I'm thinking about doing. The domestic swordtails. I'm not really big on domestic swordtails, but I like them better than a lot of the other common community type fish. I like the neon tetras and all the different little tetras and stuff. Because these guys are still live bears, still swordtails. Something about building a community tank around them to get a little more activity in the house instead of what I have in the tank that I have in mind. Because there's something to be said about just being able to watch the fish and not have to have everything be a project, a breeding project, or a experiment of some sort. Speaking of projects, still need to get this little door here put up. I got it painted and brought in, and then I realized this is about 4 feet here. And I didn't measure when I got the thing, and apparently the piece that I painted and brought in was like 8 feet long, so it doesn't fit in the 4-foot section. So I'm going to cut it, and hopefully it'll fit 2 spots. And I didn't think about this either. My sign here hangs down past the edge of the board. So we had to move the sign or notch out for the little door to fold up around it. I always make things complicated. And I put up these here. These are little sleeves. They're designed for like filing systems, but they hold 3-inch by 5-inch index cards. And I'm going to print up or at least write on them what is in the tank corresponding to that. And I'm thinking about like printing a picture of the fish with a little description on it. And not only to help me remember what I put in the tanks, but if something were to ever happen that someone else needs to come in here and take care of my fish or whatever, maybe they would be able to figure out what's in the tank. Some of the tanks I've written on the glass with like a Sharpie or paint marker or something. And the problem with that is not necessarily legible, and most of them aren't correct. Then I write on it, and then I switch things out and I don't change it. So that will be an issue with these, that I'll need to change them out whenever I make changes. But I think having it more visible there, instead of just like some writing on the glass, will help me get it done. Let's see. Alex Sean says, I use the 35-gallon tubs from Home Depot. Not carried in the store, so I had to order. And they have 3 shelves from Marginals. And they cost about $72. Okay. This year, I don't even remember what I paid for them. Don't really remember what size, like gallons wise, they were, but it's like the most common ones of them are the black, like storage totes that have the yellow lids that everybody carries. Except these were the heavier duty ones than just the regular ones that everybody had. But I don't remember if they were 20, 30 gallons or what they were, or how much I paid for them. I ordered 6 or 8 of them in the spring and had them delivered and put out here, or I put them out here. I didn't have them put out here. And then I had to get a new, I say I had to, I didn't have to, but I convinced myself I had to get a new linear piston pump for the tubs outside, because the little diaphragm pump that I had wasn't powerful enough to power that many tanks or tubs. So I've got a linear piston pump out there. And the plan is to bring it inside this winter and work it into a backup system. So if the main pump ever goes out, I'll have that backup pump system ready to go. And I thought about plumbing it all from in here, having the pump and everything in here popped out to the tubs, because they're just right outside the building here. And that way I can just leave the pump sitting here all year round and just shut the pipe work going outside off, and then clean up the tubs and all that. But yeah, I don't have high hopes for what the fall turns out in the tubs. I know I still have one guppy out there because I saw it yesterday. I thought they were all gone. I've got some rice fish. I used to have a ton of rice fish out there, but I've only seen like 4 or 5 now, and a few white clouds still out there. So I don't have high hopes for bringing stuff in this fall. The rice fish, the little mops that I use for those, all get destroyed. I've added more water lettuce to the tubs, thinking that might help with more cover. And that may have been the beginning of the issue that I had, was that the tops were open and able to be seen from, raccoons and everything that walked by, just because I couldn't find any pond plants when I put the stuff out. But I don't think that I put anything out there like super rare that it hurts to lose any fish, but losing white clouds, I know where to get more of those. I put American flagfish out there. If I lost those, I haven't seen those in stores in a long time. I know I could get some more, but it would take a little while to get them. I may have to take a trip down to Florida and do some collecting, but I could locate some of those. I had some local native gambusia that went out there. Cherry barbs. They kept some cherry barbs back in the pound, or whatever this thing is, the fish building. But I was hoping to put those out and breed them, since I lost the Odessa barbs. And then the guppies weren't anything. They were just if I remember correctly, they were just like a mixed strain, like mutts or whatever people call them. And I also don't remember what were in the tubs. I started labeling the tubs, but when I got to those and didn't see any fish in them, I didn't label those. We got the Home Depot link in there for the those 35-gallon tubs. I'll check those out too. I like to make a nice looking little tub setup out there that actually fish survive in. I mean, that would be ideal. I got a lot of plans and don't follow through with a lot of them. It seems like I got the breeding and stuff working in here, and then the tubs and stuff out there. And by the time I figure out what I'm doing with the tubs, it's wintertime, time to bring them in. Let's see. All right. I've got Cuban lemurs, and I don't know. I'm hoping that the babies are just hiding because they were breeding for me, and there was 10 or 12 fry in the tank, and I looked into the past couple weeks and haven't seen any fry. So I'm hoping they're just back in the back in the rocks and stuff hiding. Otherwise, I don't know what happened there. Breeding good, and then all of a sudden, the babies just disappeared. I was trying to think. A couple of weeks, that puts it around the bluegrass bash. Maybe something happened to them over the week that I was gone. I didn't notice. I need to look into that tank and see what's really going on in there, and make sure I don't have something else happening in there. You know, got a dragonfly larva in there or something. It could be like that time that I had that spider in here up there fishing and pulling fish out of the tanks. I didn't know if those things existed. But we caught it and got it out of here. And we're going to make a little improvements. I'm noticing my temperature gauge here saying that it's 81, and realizing it doesn't feel 81 in here compared to previous times. But I think that's because I did install a fan install. It's a clamp-on fan, so how hard is that to clamp something on? But it's right up there, pointed back this way, blowing at me. So it's making me feel cooler than 81 degrees. My mind keeps going to the fish club and the stuff I'm doing with it. And we've got to July now, so that means we're over halfway through the year. So my brain starts thinking ahead to next year and what to do for next year and all that. But we've still got 2 meetings and a swap and an auction and a shop hop and half a year worth of stuff for this year to do. And here I am already thinking about, you know, changes and stuff of what's been successful this year and what we need to change for next year and all of that. Like one thing that's on my mind right now is every meeting we have a bowl show where people bring in fish to enter in a little show, and it's kind of like the fish shows at the conventions, but on a smaller scale, and we just have like 2 categories each month. So like this month it was goldfish, and the other category was barbs, rasboras, and danios. And the barbs, rasboras, and danios got a lot of entries, but the goldfish only got 2 entries. So maybe we need to look at combining both those categories into one and calling it like cool water fish or something, and developing out another category to be used. Like our pleco category is just in with catfish. And a lot of times we get a lot of catfish and plecos and stuff that it might could be divided. So that's kind of the stuff that's been going through my head as well. Ellie Sean says, you do need to allow sunlight to penetrate your tub, otherwise you'll get nasty gunk forming at the bottom. Nasty gunk. What kind of nasty gunk is that? I mean, I get sunlight. I mean, it's not direct sunlight because I don't think any of my property gets direct sunlight. There's a lot of shade and stuff, but they do get sunlight. But I do get like algae and hair algae and that type of stuff growing in there. Different ones at different times. I'm not sure what kind of gunk would come from not getting sunlight, but I definitely would want it to get sunlight because I like that of having plants in my tubs and stuff. Which is another thing, like you couldn't do that if you put the pallets over it, having plants in there or a full-on lid. But maybe with like the hardware cloth, if I had large enough openings, plants could grow through that and actually make it look decent. Nancy B's come in. Welcome. Says, hi everyone, headed home from work but stuck by a slow train at the moment. The trains that run through my town, they rarely ever come through. But when they do, they stop on the two, so when the train comes through, it will stop and block 1, 2, 3 intersections, the 3 main intersections, or not intersections, but crossings that are the only roads, or the 3 main roads that lead from one side of town to the other side of town. So you end up having, and they'll stop there and they'll sit in their wait for half an hour. And so you end up having to go down and hit the interstate exit on the south end of town, drive to the north end of town, get off and drive back to where you were going, or vice versa. That's a pain. But the reason they do that, from what I'm told, there's a limestone quarry down through there that the train shows up to get the shipments of limestone, and they didn't build the loading area or whatever in the rock quarry large enough to fit the train. So they have to pull up there, unhook, a few carts, take it in, fill those up, pull it out to a side track, come back, get the next few cars, continue going until they have the full train loaded, and then it can take off. It's wild that, as inefficient as our train system is in the U.S., that we're still using it for as much as we are. And that's a complete sidetrack of fish talk, but hey, that's what we do. A sidetrack, talk about trains. Oh, heavy detritus. I wouldn't have thought of that. I wouldn't have thought of a correlation between sunlight and detritus. But that's interesting. The speaker we had last night was talking about raising plecos outside. And apparently the perfect way to raise plecos outside is with a 55-gallon drum on its side, closed up at both ends, and just a slit cut in the top. And that you fill the drum up, I guess like 3/4 of the way full, and the curvature of the drum and small slit at the top grows the right amount of algae or something, or holds the plecos. I don't know, but they were talking about the way that the curvature of the drum, the slit on top, makes perfect pleco growing conditions. I've never tried plecos outside, but the way they're breeding here right now, maybe I need to try it, or maybe not. Maybe I'd end up overrun with them. Allie Sean says, I keep hyacinth around the edge of the tub. Water lily pads cover a lot of the surface, but still allows sunlight penetration. Yeah, and I was disappointed this year that I wasn't able to get the pond plants like I usually would. I used to get them so I would get them going to club meetings. I'd get them from 2 local pet stores that we had. And when I say local, it's within an hour drive because there are none here. And those 2 local pet stores both closed down for one reason or the other. The Lexington Club has had very little pond plants show up. And there was some last night because the talk was on tubs. And you could tell that the club has been starved of pond plants because they went. I didn't get any of the pond plants because they went fairly high for my experience or from what I've seen. And sometimes I was able to get some from like the Nashville Club, and I was able to go to the Nashville Club up through like spring, and then once it got time to get the pond plants and people start bringing them, stuff happened that I wasn't able to make it to the meetings. So maybe I need to try harder. That's what it boils down to. I just need to try harder. Drive a little further to find the plants. Alishon gets a lot of his marginals and lilies from Ted Cletty's club auctions. But incredible varieties. Yeah, and that's something that I guess a lot of the rest of us are have a reason to be jealous about is the availability there. I know Ted's got a lot of great knowledge and plants and and different stuff dealing with the tubs. To have him that close with that uh, access there, that'd be awesome. And I know there's people around here that have stuff too, but it's just not. I guess I haven't got in with that niche or group yet, and I guess I'm still, since I've been struggling with it, still a beginner with tubs. Since I haven't had my system ironed out and working the way that I want it to work. Zen Ginger showed up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I mean, granted, this year of course, I'm making excuses again, but let's make excuses. It's fun. This year, a lot of my focus has been on the build up to the Bluegrass Bash and getting it together and getting it put out, figuring out what was going on with it. And I've been focusing a lot more on this channel for remember to put content out, because I went last year for like 4 months without putting anything out. And then this right here, doing live streams. I told myself I was going to do live streams. Kind of stuck with it. Been a few that I've missed because, got caught out and wouldn't be back in time, or got sick or something. I've tried to be here. And so trying to improve the channel here, putting videos out and doing videos ahead of time. I've let my shorts slack off, and I don't think I've got any shorts scheduled. So I need to do shorts, but I don't know how to do shorts. It's just weird to me. I like the long content stuff, and I think it's because I just ramble. I talk about nothing for a while. Sanders Aquatics is here. Welcome. Hey guys, running late, but I'm here. Well, late's better than never. It's good to see you. And Nancy says, I ordered floaters, the hyacinths, and water lettuce on Etsy. And Kelly sent me a couple of marginals that I have most of my lilies from last year. Now I didn't think about ordering plants online. They would do a lot better than ordering fish. So I have an issue ordering fish online because I can't guarantee that I will be here on any particular day at any particular time, and a box of fish sitting on the porch for hours at a time when it's hot outside or cold outside or whatever. I'm not comfortable with that. But plants would do, for the most part, a lot better with that. So I need to think about that. For maybe too late to order pond plants for this year since we're already in July. But I keep that in mind. Let's see. Zen Ginger says, does it feel more like the wind has been let out of yourself since it's behind you? Or is it a relief that it's over and you have your life back? The Bluegrass Bash? Oh, no, I'm very glad that it's over. It was a good time. I'm looking forward to going to an event that I will actually get to hang out with people and see presentations and that type of stuff rather than working it. That, to me, that's the biggest downside of Bluegrass Bash, was my role in it kept me busy the whole time, that I wasn't able to enjoy it at the level that I would like to have enjoyed it. But I learned a lot from it, and I learned that, I'm trying to figure out how to say it without it sounding bad, because I don't mean it bad, but we'd been told that our club couldn't do this. Our club couldn't hold a convention, that we wouldn't have people show up, that nobody would volunteer to help with anything. And there was a lot of haters or naysayers or whatever you want to call them, talking the whole thing down. And I'm glad to see that we had so many people show up under the conditions that we were dealing with, and ready to help, ready to do whatever needed to be done, and pull the thing together. And following the event, they actually said, "Hey, can we do something else like this again sometime?" But they actually enjoyed it and wanted to do more, and it inspired members of the club to take more ownership in the club and want to do more things. So I liked that. And since it's behind me, I can focus more on the club activities themselves. And that's what I enjoy doing, is not spending so much time on one event, planning one event. I like getting multiple things going, offering multiple things to the members. And yeah, I get some of my life back, as you put it. I spent a lot of my vacation time for that, and now I've got, I don't have vacation time back, but I don't have to worry about that anymore. Hallie Sean says, there's a guy on eBay who charges $2 each for water hyacinths. Oh, nice. My order is $50 to share with the club. That is a really good idea. That sounds like stuff that I do, that I order stuff in bulk or larger quantities, just to take and give it out at the club, take it to donate to the club auctions and stuff like that, to try to get it passed around. Skull says he sends everything to his brother's house. He's home during the day. That would be nice. I don't really have that option. I mean, I could have it delivered to my neighbor, but who knows if I would see it again. I'm sure they would bring it by, but it's going to sit for hours there also. Let's see, the engineer says, I get that. It seems like a lot of work. Yeah, the bash was work. It was the way that it was structured for the planning was, to me anyways, very confusing. But it was, being at that level of planning an event and a convention and stuff. It was it's new to me, so. The NEC convention's next April in Scranton, Pennsylvania. That's on my short list. April is difficult for me because that's the same month as typically like Easter and spring break, and it's very hard to get off work during that time. For everybody's trying to fight for vacation time in April, but it's definitely on my list. Because Pennsylvania is a drivable distance, and when it's dealing with fish, I prefer to drive just to get there, and because even though I said I'm not going to buy anything, I will, and I want to drive it myself so I can keep an eye on it. It's a control thing. Shy Savage Cichlids, welcome in. Ali Sean says, I run my club's auction. Must be crazy to run a convention. Too old for that. It's different. We'll just say that. I've got a small, I say it's small, it's long. But it's a little piece of me talking about some of the behind the scenes stuff. I've got a video coming out maybe next week or the week after that, just with a little piece of me talking about some of the behind the scenes stuff that we dealt with. And it was stuff that I wouldn't have thought about going into it. Stuff that I would look, if I was going to do it again, hope to do things a little differently or know to look for those things. But I didn't put everything in there. I didn't know if that was the type of stuff that viewers would want to see. And then I put the little thing in. If you want to know more, let me know, and I'll make a second one. Or if you want to know why a certain thing happened or didn't happen at the bash, I could dive into that. But it is different. Doing stuff for the local club is a handful, and I know Alan, Sean, you know how it goes as far as getting a hold of sponsors for donating stuff and organizing all the auctions, and I think where you all are, you can do raffles. There are a lot of paperwork where I'm at as far as legalities, so we haven't got all that paperwork done yet. To do raffles here, we basically have to fill out the same paperwork that we would have to do to file to put in a casino, and then file a addition to that to specify what we're wanting to do. So it's a little bit of paperwork that we haven't got done yet, but it is still a lot of work doing auctions and stuff. And then the convention has auctions and swaps and speakers and all that piling on top of each other. Looks like Shy just got home from work. And Ali Sean used to have stuff delivered to his job when he ordered from Aquabid back in the day. That would be good if I had that option also. I work at a large facility that's they classify it as a high security facility, so I can't get anything like that delivered, anything personal delivered to work. I've got some stuff that may be lining up where I could get deliveries of fish and stuff, but we'll see how that goes. Zen's asking Alex, Sean, did it say live fish on the boxes? Did you get weird looks at work? I may or may not have snuck bags of fish into work in like my lunchbox and traded them out with people at work. But that's about as good as I could get away with. Sutton Road Aquatics, welcome in. Hope you all are well. I'm dehydrated. Sorry that the text is supposed to go to my old lady. Truth be known, we're probably all dehydrated. They say most people are and don't realize it. It's nice when you work for a small company, you got the connections and you can get the people in shipping to take care of your stuff. Alishawn was saying, talking about getting the stuff delivered to his work. Let's see, Nancy B says, I bought fish at lunch and took them back in with me. I've done some trading where I had one guy bring me fish and I took him fish. And now another guy's asking for duckweed, but I don't think I'm going to take duckweed into work because that's just a lot of questions for duckweed. Danikin's here. Welcome in, Kenny. Says, what up, fish people? Yeah, so I am glad the Bluegrass Bash happened. I'm glad it was a success. I'm glad it's over and I can move on and I can look forward to more me events so I can go and enjoy the talks and stuff like that, hang out with people. And so looking forward to the OCA in November and then the NEC potentially in April and then the stuff in July up in Wisconsin and the different stuff that's happening next year, potentially something down in Florida. Sanders Aquatic says, I hate duckweed. You and me both. Yeah, it was one of your videos I was watching today about talking about duckweed was your enemy. And after I got done watching that one, I went to a different video of someone else, and they were talking about duckweed was their nemesis. And I'm like, hey, I've got a video about me going to war in the fish room with my duckweed. So it seems like everybody hates duckweed, but there's still people out there asking for it. Stores are still selling it. Like one of the pet stores I went to a couple months back was talking about, or they had listed they had a cup of duckweed for $4. I'm like, who's paying $4 for a cup of duckweed? You know, I'll give you this stuff, but I can't say much. I take duckweed to swaps, and I start off with a joke of a bag of duckweed for $1, and a couple kids were fighting over it. So the next time I took 2, and then the next time I took 3, and the last one I think I took 8 bags of duckweed and sold every one of them, and people were asking for more. And I'm like, really? People are buying duckweed? But whatever. I'm trying to get rid of the stuff. I hope I don't have any to sell. Sutton Road Aquatics says, I honestly say I have no duckweed in my fish room. Good. You don't want duckweed. Even if you think you want duckweed, you don't want it because once you get it, you don't want it. And it's hard to get rid of. These curved outputs, you can't see any in the video, in the thing, I don't think. The curved uplift tubes for the sponge filters, they're helping, but I have to manually remove it, but it's slowing down the growth of it. So Shy Savage Cichlid says, I have it in a bucket, nowhere in the tanks. That's playing with fire. If you have, like one of the videos I saw today, one of the guys was talking about he hates duckweed, but he's going to start a tank growing duckweed to sell to people. And I'm like, no. Once you start it in one tank, it will get in another tank. If you have it in a bucket, oh, that's playing with fire. It'll get somewhere else. I mean, I don't want to associate it with other things that you don't want to catch, but it's like playing with something that you don't want to catch and saying it's okay, I'll play it safe over here with that stuff. And then No, it's I am anti floaters of all kinds right now. No Salvinia. I love Salvinia, but no Salvinia. It all gets tossed. Pretty much all my guppy grass is getting tossed because a little speck of duckweed gets in it and it just spurs everything off back on. Frog bit. Water lettuce is allowed outside, not in the fish room, and it won't come back in because duckweed will appear out there with the floaters. As Skull says, duckweed is one of the big sellers on eBay. You're kidding me. I need to get on eBay and look up this stuff. Maybe I can get rich selling duckweed. Who needs fish, right? You sell duckweed. No. I gotta have my fish. Well, there's Jeff. Jeff likes red roof floaters. Welcome in, Jeff. But apparently I've went too long. It's after 7 o'clock already. And they say I gotta go back to work tomorrow. So I got stuff I gotta do. I want to thank you all for joining me for this complaint session about duckweed and tubs and all of that. And thank you for stopping by and showing support. And I'm forgetting how to end these things, but we'll see you next time. I don't know who's streaming next or where to send you all, but see you there if somebody's streaming. We'll be over there. Later.